Thank God, America just dodged a massive bullet because former Representative Matt Gaetz, who resigned his House seat about a week and a half back after being promised the position of the Attorney General, just announced that he is no longer in the bidding for the position of the Attorney General. He said on Twitter about 5 minutes ago, quote, "I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many." Who is supporting you, Matt Gaetz? While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle, thus I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. Wow, how altruistic. What an amazing man. He's doing it because he cares about the country. No. Wrong. Now, the funny thing is, I had just finished recording a video about Matt Gaetz' sex trafficking web getting leaked to the New York Times, and literally as I'm editing this video, I get this news. So I'm gonna just post this video as it was, and I'm gonna show you exactly why Matt Gaetz was not fit to be the Attorney General. And this video is gonna show you exactly why Matt Gaetz had to resign, because something leaked about 15 hours ago that is damaging as hell. He said, "I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me to be the DOJ, blah, blah, blah." And I have a few thoughts. First of all, Matt Gaetz no longer is in Congress. Let's go. He literally resigned his seat, then got rug pulled. But also, I want us to be careful with the next pick for Attorney General, because if you've read The Art of the Deal, which I haven't, but I just know what it says inside, one of Trump's core negotiation tactics is from the 80s, it's the anchor. It's having a crazy ask, an insane ask, so that the next ask feels a little bit more comfortable, even if it's equally as insane. So if we would take that to this situation, Matt Gaetz was probably the most extreme pick possible, and Donald Trump could have picked some no-name extremist, but he purposefully picked a wild pick because he's hoping that his next pick has lower standards due to the extremeness of Matt Gaetz. So we cannot let that happen, and we cannot let the next AG get off the hook because he doesn't have an investigation about sex trafficking. The next AG will be equally as incompetent and equally as vengeful, I'm guessing. But here's the original video I made. All right, breaking news. The leak we just got from this Matt Gaetz investigation may be one of the craziest things I have ever seen, and the fact that it's happening right out in the open and Republicans are trying to sweep it under the rug is even more mind-blowing, because keep in mind, Representative Nancy Mace has been relentlessly for the past week implying that the first ever transgender Congresswoman, Sarah McBride, is somehow a danger to the other Congresswomen and they shouldn't be able to share a bathroom. But I just keep thinking, if I were a woman in Congress, I would be far more uncomfortable being alone with somebody like Matt Gaetz rather than Sarah McBride. So Nancy Mace is trying to blow up this massive transgender story to distract from this federal inquiry that just traced payments from Matt Gaetz to not just one woman, not just two women, but a whole list of women, and I want to break it down for you guys. So drop a like, subscribe, and let's jump in. A document prepared by federal investigators bolsters claims by women who say they were hired for sex by Matt Gaetz, President-elect Donald J. Trump's choice for Attorney General, who denies all wrongdoing. And remember, Donald Trump appointed the worst possible people to each department on purpose for these Orwellian reasons. In 1984, it says something like the Ministry of Truth focused on lies, the Ministry of Plenty focused on starvation, and now that is happening in real life. The Department of Government Efficiency is inefficient. The Department of Justice has anything but justice. Even the health dude, RFK Jr., who acts like he's about to be this beacon of health within our country, is an anti-vaxxer. He doesn't understand the fundamental science at play, but let's jump into this article. Federal investigators have established a web of payments among Matt Gaetz and dozens of friends and associates who are said to have taken part with him in drug-fueled sex parties, according to a document obtained by the New York Times. Among those who received money from Mr. Gaetz were two women who have testified that he hired them for sex, according to the document, and a lawyer for the two women. The lawyer said payments to the women ultimately totaled around $10,000. Okay, and that payment right there is fishy because we have to remember a few things. Number one, if there was nothing that came out of this investigation, then Mike Johnson wouldn't be so desperately trying to sweep it under the rug. But secondly, $10,000, that is a criminal amount of payment. Not actually, but it implies criminal activity. For example, if Matt Gaetz had Venmo'd each of the girls 15 to 20 bucks, and his defense was that he Venmo'd them for gas money to drive across town and do blah blah blah, then that gas money argument could hold up. But when the two women were paid $10,000 in total, that implies some deeper nefarious activity that is not gas money. So again, if the investigation were not fruitful at all, Mike Johnson wouldn't be trying so hard to sweep it under the rug. And this is what Republicans would do. They would draw bigger conspiracies out of Mike Johnson trying to sweep it under the rug. So if I were a Republican, I would say, why is Mike Johnson trying to hide this report? Was Mike Johnson at the party with Matt Gaetz? How many congressmen were at this party now? I'm starting to think that Mike Johnson might have something to do with this entire situation. Was he part of the scheme, allegedly? Blah, blah, blah. And that's what Republicans would literally say. They would try to flip. They do say that. They think that all Democrats are working together for some sex trafficking ring, but just listen to this. The document obtained by the Times was assembled by federal investigators during a sex trafficking investigation into Mr. Gaetz, who is President-elect Donald J. Trump's choice for Attorney General. The most powerful law enforcement officer in the country would go to somebody who has every incentive to enact revenge on all of the people who are currently investigating him because he thinks it's unfair. It shows how Mr. Gaetz and a friend sent thousands of dollars through Venmo to dozens of people who, according to testimony that is said to have been getting to federal congressional investigators, were involved in sex parties from 2017 to 2020. Let me highlight that. Were involved in sex parties. This is the party of conservative family values, by the way, guys. Our new attorney general, maybe. Among those who received payment from Mr. Gaetz' friend, the document shows, was another woman who, according to people familiar with the case, was 17 when she attended one of the parties. Again, she was 17. Mr. Gaetz, 42, represented Florida in Congress from 2017 until last week. And people keep saying that Matt Gaetz had sex with an underage woman, but no, it was statutory rape of a minor. This was rape of somebody who was 17, a minor. Mr. Gaetz, 42, represented Congress from 2017, again, until last week, and he has vehemently denied any wrongdoing, and the federal investigation was closed by the Justice Department without any charges against him. But again, there is a difference between the Justice Department, which has a very high burden of proof. They have like a 97% chance of winning a case once they bring it. There's a difference between them using the legal term not guilty and Matt Gaetz actually having been involved in this. Not guilty is a legal term about the burden of proof, is what I'm saying. So, this document was obtained by the House Ethics Committee, which met on Wednesday amid growing pressure to release a report it has compiled on Mr. Gaetz, titled Venmo Transactions Between All Individuals as of 9/14/20. The document uses thumbnail photos of Mr. Gaetz and dozens of women and several other men to show how payments flowed between them. Lines with arrows connect the men and the women, showing, among other things, how much Mr. Gaetz and his associates paid the women. And right here, you see Joel Greenberg. Now, Joel Greenberg is in jail for sex trafficking. This dude is in jail for sex trafficking already, and you can see, stemming from Joel Greenberg, there's payments of $3,000. I'm at the top, if you see my cursor, $3,000, and then I see $4,000, and then I see $300. $261, a $400 Venmo payment. And then you can search around $5,000 to $4,200, $1,000. I mean, these women got paid to be in sex rings, $7,000. You can see exactly how it happened. And then there are connections between many of these women to none other than Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz wasn't at the center of the ring like his friend Joel Greenberg, but he still made $1,000 payments, $3,000, $2,000 right here. I see a $4,000 one. This one of Matt Gaetz says he sent $24,000 to a woman who then sent it somewhere else. It's just very odd. And it says right here, because the department declined to charge Matt Gaetz with the crime, the documents amassed during the investigation have remained secret, as the department almost never releases materials that law enforcement agencies develop in investigations in which no charges are brought. But a copy of the chart was obtained by the House Ethics Committee, and Stephen Chung, the communications director for Mr. Trump, blamed the Justice Department for disclosure of the document, which he claimed was classified, therefore verifying that it's true, of course, even though it has no classified markings and does not relate to national security. He said, blah, 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 the purposeful linking is dumb, I don't want to listen to that guy. The chart does not say what the payments were for, nor does it show that Mr. Gaetz made the payment to the 17-year-old girl because everything is redacted, but it does show payments the authorities believed Mr. Gaetz and his associates made to other women, including the two whose lawyer has said they had sex with Mr. Gaetz in exchange for money. And it's insane because the charts show different payments all through Venmo and provide the first documentary evidence from inside the federal investigation, showing how investigators examined Mr. Gaetz' activities in meticulous detail, tracking not just his payments, but also those of a large network of people who were involved in the parties. Now, the lawyer, Joe Leppard, said that the two women he represents testified before the House committee that Mr. Gaetz paid them in exchange for sex, and one of the women said that Mr. Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old and that she had witnessed it, but that she did not believe Mr. Gaetz thought the girl was under 18, according to the lawyer, but that doesn't make it any better. You're an up-and-coming politician holding insanely degenerate parties with sex and drugs, and listen, I don't care what people do on their free time. If you want to smoke weed or have sex orgies in your free time, I really don't give a shit, but that's not what this is. This is a strategic, top-down effort from two men to pay young women to have parties. This is different from just doing what you want on your free time. I do want to make that distinction. I'm not trying to put people down for partying. I'm putting Matt Gaetz down in particular for being a degenerate and then acting holier than thou and wanting to be the attorney general, also raping an underage girl, raping a minor. The chart shows that one of Mr. Leppard's clients received $4,000 and the other $3,500. It does not show the dates of those payments. Either way, I firmly believe that if Matt Gaetz does become the attorney general, it is a terrible, dark sign for our country, and I know you guys agree because there's a few ways Matt Gaetz can become the attorney general. Either all of the senators bend the knee and confirm him, which would be insane considering the evidence we have on him, or all of the senators bend the knee and are okay with recess appointments, and then through the recess appointment, Donald Trump jams through all of his insane picks, and then he gets the best of both worlds. He gets to subvert the Constitution and get his picks in the process. So if these recess appointments end up happening, we have a lot of work to do. If we end up dodging the recess appointments and dodging this Matt Gaetz pick, then we are in a better position, but you need to understand Donald Trump's tactic in negotiation has always been to have an anchor. So something that's absolutely insane. An insane ask so that when you ask for something a little bit less insane, people are relieved. So we don't want to fall for that because if he does put in some bulldog that is like Matt Gaetz but just less known, doesn't have a profile and no scandals, then we're all going to be like, phew, but that's not a good thing. We just got baited and switched, if you understand what I mean. I mean, he did his negotiation tactics. So if you learned something new, drop a like, subscribe, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
If you enjoyed this video and want to help support independent journalism during the Trump administration, please consider becoming a member of Mockler's channel by clicking the join button below. The content will always be free, but you can help level up the Mockler channel by becoming a member below. Thank you.